What's up, and welcome to another episode of the Empowered Mission podcast. I am so happy that you're taking the time to tune in today because this episode is slightly different from how I normally plan out previous episodes. And the reason why is because I actually came ready and prepared this week to teach on an entirely different topic, but this week just felt so heavy for so many of us, given all the breaking news that's been happening over the past, I want to say couple of weeks, but honestly over the past year. It's been heavy. It's been devastating on top of us going through inflation right now globally and any day-to-day struggles that we might be facing in our individual lives. So I woke up today and I was like, you know what? Scratch this topic. I'll talk about that topic later. Today, I just want to talk about what is on my heart right here, right now, in hopes that it can uplift you and inspire you through such a crazy time in our world right now. So today, I want to talk to you about mental health, but I want to take it a little bit further here and talk about why we should be prioritizing mental health more than we prioritize making money. Many of you that listen to this podcast are creators, you're entrepreneurs, you have this incredible idea that you want to make profitable out there one day. And although those endeavors are great, and I definitely encourage you to pursue those endeavors, it's really important that we consider the approach that we're taking. So in any endeavor, in any pursuit, that approach should focus on our mental health before we focus on how much money we're actually generating to make our ideas profitable or to step into full-time entrepreneurship. And honestly, even if you're not in the entrepreneurship field, my hope is that this episode can bring you the inspiration that you need, right? Prioritizing your mental health above your 9-to-5. Prioritizing your mental health above your daily to-do list, whatever that might look like. So I just want to have a conversation with y'all, right? I just want to talk. I want to encourage you and I want to uplift you. So I'm going to start by just kind of going over what mental health is. Like, I know we hear this term a lot, especially on social media. It's trending. People want to make sure we're taking care of our minds and our bodies, which is great. I'm a massive advocate for that. But I really want to get to the core of what it really is, okay? So mental health is taking care of or encompassing your mindset, your emotional, and your psychological well-being. It also determines how you handle things in stressful situations, how the decision-making process is for you, how you react and respond among your professional or personal relationships. It encompasses all of that. The thing is, with that definition of what mental health actually is, there is a big reason as to why we need to focus on it primarily and prioritize it above everything else in our lives. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. God should be number one, right? Our relationship with Christ should be number one. But even how we go about that relationship with God, that all goes back to how we're doing mentally and emotionally, how we are in that actual relationship, how we prioritize it, and how we act within it. So here's the thing. You should prioritize mental health simply because if you are not okay, then nothing ever will be. We will never reach a point of true satisfaction, a point of overall joy, a point of true fulfillment if we are genuinely not okay within ourselves. If you are not okay, then nothing ever will be. If you are not okay, then your relationship with God will not feel as fulfilling as it should feel. If you are not okay, then your business will not feel as fulfilling as you want it to be. If you are not okay, then you can never actually have joy or peace consistently. Now, at the end of the day, yes, you wanting to make your business profitable or you wanting to bring your ideas to life, all of that is important. And you can chase after that and get success within those things if you are not okay. But when I say success, I'm talking about external success. You can make 6 figures externally and still not be okay in your own headspace. But that's not the goal. It never was. External success is important, right? That has everything to do with your overall mission. But your mission goes beyond that. Your mission also has to do with that internal success. So let me ask you, how are you really? We have so many people in our day-to-day conversations that ask us, hey, how you doing? And automatically our responses are, I'm good. How are you? Right? I mean, I know that's my truth. I'm out walking my dog and somebody asks me that. That's my immediate response. But when I check myself and dig deep, was I actually good? Or did I just pretty much lie to that person because I didn't feel like going into a deep conversation on an entirely different topic, right? I've been there, and I know many of you have as well. So I want you to take time to really check in and ask yourself, how am I doing really? What areas of my life am I not reaching satisfaction, joy, or peace? And why is that? What are those reasons? And the reason why I'm asking you or encouraging you to do that analysis within yourself is so that you can get to the root of those problems and start immediately fixing it as you put God in the forefront so that he can help you through this process. And I'm here to help you too. And that's the next step that I want to go to with this episode or in this conversation that we're having, which is how you can prioritize mental health today, tomorrow, moving forward, from here on out. So I'm just going to tell you what I do, what's worked well for me. If you are a dedicated listener of this podcast, you know that I have shared my story and how I've battled many insecurities, identity issues, panic attacks, anxiety, a lot going on. And honestly, a lot of that stuff still will try to come back around and hit me. But I've learned to fight the right fight. And one of the best ways I fight it with God on my side is prioritizing my mental health and making sure that how I go about my day in this battle is just being approached in the right way. Not with anger, not with frustration, not with feeding my own negativity, right? But completely redirecting, completely changing the narrative. And you can do the exact same thing too. So, how can you prioritize mental health? First things first, start your day off right, y'all. Start it off right. And when I say that, I'm talking about the fact that without even realizing it, unintentionally, we start our day off by getting ready for work, by immediately going into a workout, by looking at our phone right away. But all of these things are actions. You're starting your day off with active actions before even checking in with yourself on how you are actually doing. In other words, you're so focused on the doing part that you don't prioritize the being part. See, I feel like many people miss the fact that yes, God calls you to things. He wants you to work. He wants you to have that faith. But he never intended for you to always be doing. Go, go, go. On autopilot. Like it's just automatic for you. He also intended for us to just be. Be with him. Be with yourself. How are you actually doing? So start your day off right by implementing the right things. Don't look at your phone. Don't start getting for work right away. Don't start doing something that's overly active while your brain is still adjusting to waking up. And that could look different for many of us, right? I know for me, some mornings I start off my day with a cup of coffee and I literally just stare out into the sky. I don't say anything. I try not to think about anything but Jesus. And it's just me right there in that present moment, drinking my coffee, completely at peace, listening to the birds outside. Other mornings, I am reading the Bible. Other mornings, I am journaling about how I'm actually doing, how I'm feeling, what I'm struggling with. I'm writing it all out and making it tangible. And that can have a massive impact on how you go about the rest of your day, getting your thoughts out. So I want you to think about what it looks like for you to begin to start your day off right every single day moving forward, y'all. That means if you got to be at work at 6 a.m., guess what? Wake up at 4:30 a.m. and prioritize your mental health. Prioritize God. Prioritize you first. Now, that takes a whole different level of commitment and dedication, but your mental health has to be that important so that we can navigate the craziness in this world, so that we can truly be okay in everything that's going on. It's not just about policy and making change and praying for the chaos in this world. Yes, it is about all of those things, but you also have to check in with you. How am I doing right now with all of this going on? And what actions can I take to fix it, to make sure that I'm okay? My next tip for you in how to prioritize mental health is being intentional in taking breaks, mental breaks, every single hour, y'all. Every hour. Now, I gotta admit, I like to be honest with you. This is something that I personally need to get better at. I am terrible at remembering to step away from the computer, step away from my work, step away from whatever I'm doing every single hour for 5 minutes just to give myself a mindfulness break. Really hard to be consistent in, but once you are, it can make all the difference. I've had days where I literally set alarms in my phone once every hour to remind me to step away for 5 minutes, meditate, pray, stare out at the sky, go for a little walk, do what I need to do to get that break in, to center myself. And it's helped me to go about the rest of my day successfully, feeling at peace, feeling fulfilled, and just feeling okay with all the chaos that's still happening around me. And this is something that you can start implementing too. Set alarms on your phone. Set your Apple Watch to trigger a notification to take those mental breaks. Once again, y'all, it has to be important enough. It has to be. We have to stay committed and intentional so that we are taking care of how we actually are doing and changing the narrative if we're not feeling or doing okay. And by the way, it doesn't just have to be breaks every hour. Maybe you need a break for the entire day. Maybe you need what we call a mental health day, right? You step back and you're like, I cannot work today, or I can't focus on this to-do list today because my mind is not in the right place. If 5 minutes every hour isn't going to do it for you, then take a much further step back and take a full day dedicated to mental health. Spend the entire day going for walks, journaling, reading the Bible, praying, meditating, doing what you need to do to fill your cup back up so that you can sustain the rest of the days in that week that are up and coming. Okay? That's also really essential, something that we could prioritize. All right, last thing that I want to say in regards to prioritizing your mental health, find joy outside of your work, y'all. Find joy outside of your work, especially if you're an entrepreneur. We tend to work 24/7. Even if we're not working, we're thinking about working. Even if we are working, we give ourselves the excuse that technically this kind of work makes me joyful, so technically I can just keep doing it. But in actuality, you're always going to reach a point where you're burnt out from that kind of work. So find joy outside of work. What do you love to do outside of your day-to-day entrepreneur or creator life? What does that look like for you? I know for me personally, I recently joined the worship team at my church because I love to sing and I wanted to get back into singing my heart out. So I did. I also just recently joined a volleyball team in my city because I love to play volleyball and I wanted to get back into the consistency of playing my heart out. And those two things together are something that I do weekly, if not bi-weekly. And honestly, it has made such a big difference in how I feel within myself. Because at one point, I was so focused on work and coming up with the excuse that I was passionate about this and I was joyful, so I could just work all the time, that I reached this point where I was like, man, why am I still feeling so unfulfilled? What is going on within me? Now, unfulfillment can come from a variety of different places, and it primarily can come from how your relationship with God is at that point. And I know for me, it was also because I wasn't feeding other joys. I wasn't feeding all of who I am to my core. And that comes to the fact of just what I enjoyed doing. Volleyball, singing, getting into that. This is what helped me prioritize my mental well-being. Stepping outside of the joy that I had for my work or the joy that I didn't have for my work and finding it in other things that brought me joy. For you, it could be finding joy in spending time with your kids, spending time with your family, maybe going on a hike, maybe taking the entire day to read. Whatever it is that you enjoy doing that connects back to your soul and connects back to the well-being of your spirit, I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to. We get so caught up in the day-to-day and our never-ending to-do list that we forget. We forget that life is so much more than the work that we do. Find joy outside of your work, y'all. Prioritize your mental health. Prioritize your well-being. And I also just want to add that because it's so easy for us to get caught up in our individual bubble of day-to-day problems, we tend to forget the bigger picture. There's a reason why God created so many of us. We are meant to be in community. We were never meant to do this alone. The perspective needs to be changed from me to us as a whole. And when you start to change that perspective, you take the focus so much off of you and you start to consider the importance of all the other people around you. How can you love them? How can you be there for them? How can you teach them to prioritize their mental health and the well-being of others around them because you're doing the same thing too? It's about us as a whole, y'all. We got this. You got this. And I know that in the following days, you can start prioritizing your mental health, realizing how essential and important that is, not just by knowing it, but by taking action on that importance and considering those around you, showing up as a light in their lives because now your mental health is at a much better scale. You can teach them to do the same. You can be loving, kind, and genuine to the people around you. We can do this, y'all. All right. Thank you for tuning in for this episode. I know I took a slightly different approach from previous episodes, but like I said, I just woke up this morning and was like, you know what? Scratch that topic. I want to talk about what's on my heart today and what I feel is on other people's hearts as well. So I hope that this episode uplifted you, encouraged you, or inspired you in any way that you needed today. Now, of course, I always like to help you out beyond these episodes. So in the podcast show notes or in the description below this YouTube video, if you're watching this on YouTube, there is a link to sign up for a course I created called the Meditation Course. So what this course is it's going to take you through 5 days of different meditations that help you recenter yourself, that help you find inner peace and healing. And each of those meditations will come with a little cheat sheet that will walk you through steps on how to do it. So feel free to sign up. It is 100% free, all for the purpose of helping you out as much as possible when it comes to prioritizing your mental health and well-being. So you can definitely sign up for that down below. Thanks for tuning in, y'all, and we'll see you next time.